Do you ever ask yourself how things came to be? You drive down a street and you wonder, what's the real history here?
News Channel 8's Rod Carter does that all the time, and he joins us now with What's in a Name. Rod?
Yeah, I'm either naturally curious or just plain old nosy. Either way, I wanted to know a lot more about where we live. For example, who is Dale Mabry, and what did he do so special that he had to have a whole street named after him? And wait until you hear about the name Tampa and how that came to be. We love the beauty of Tampa Bay, from the sunny skies to every clap of thunder and magnificent flash of lightning. Tampa is stunning. It's rich in history. We love to brag about it to the world. But what the world and even some natives may not know, Tampa really isn't Tampa at all.
And as you think about trying to say Tampa with an N, it's really difficult.
It turns out the true original name of Tampa was really Tanpa with an N. Rodney Kite Powell with the Tampa Bay History Center tells me Tampa is from Native Americans, but settlers changed it.
The place, Tampa, that name goes back to the pre-Columbian times.
Tampa, translated, means sticks of fire, so named because of the impressive amounts of lightning we experience. So exactly where was Tampa or however you say it? Well, it probably isn't where we are today.
But the real thing is it may not even been here. It may actually have been in Charlotte Harbor. There was a shipwreck survivor, a guy named Fontaneda. He documented all the native villages up the West Coast, and one of them was Tampa. We think it was here, probably where Safety Harbor is.
Tampa also had another name.
They called this area the Bay of the Holy Spirit.
The city as it sits now was born out of an old military post, Fort Brooke. The Fort Brooke parking garage sits on what was the center of the base. It stretched along the Garrison Channel, where the History Center is now, behind Amalie Arena. It was decommissioned in 1883 and became an incorporated town in 1885. It was a place for, well, let's just say frivolity.
Tampa was a place that people came to misbehave, and if Tampa was too restricted for you, then you went to Fort Brooke. So Fort Brooke was for the people who wanted the least amount of kind of law enforcement and supervision.
And if Fort Brooke and Tampa were the playground for the common folks, then Temple Terrace, just a few miles to the north, was the field of dreams for the rich.
More upper crust type people.
In 1911, the sprawling 6,000-acre area was a winter hunting preserve for the wealthy Potter Palmer family from Chicago. In 1918, the Palmers sold that land to developers who then turned it into residential areas, a golf course, and 5,000 acres of orange groves, which led to popularizing the then new and exotic hybrid Temple Orange. The groves, the largest in the world, in 1922.
It's all about fusing Florida's love affair with citrus, with, well-to-do pursuits like golf. So there's the Golf and Country Club, and it's really, meant to be a kind of, a community of well-financed individuals.
That country club, well, the building still exists. It's now Florida College. And another person heavily involved in the foundation of Temple Terrace is Maud Fowler. One of the Tampa's main thoroughfares, Fowler Avenue, is named after her.
And they'd always ask it in a really angry way, upset with this poor guy.
The guy we're talking about is Dale Mabry. His name is on one of our busiest highways.
He's actually born in Tallahassee, but grew up here in Tampa.
Mabry was a World War I vet who paid the ultimate sacrifice, but not in war. He died in this, the Roma.
And after the war, he was in Washington, D.C., and he was actually at the controls of a, what we call a blimp, or a dirigible, an Italian design, Italian build. And there was a malfunction while he was flying it, and he actually was able to steer it away from a populated area, and it crashed in a field, and he lost his life as well as other servicemen on board.
And when MacDill Air Force Base was built, then Vera Avenue was reinforced and renamed after that World War I aviator.
Being one of the kind of early fatalities in, as a test pilot, he was honored.
The Howard Franklin Bridge is another road that people love to complain about. Some even call it the Howard Frankenstein because of all the traffic. Well, Howard Franklin was someone who paved the way for transportation in our area.
Pretty prominent citizen. He owned the Pioneer Tire Company and kind of service stations in the area. He also served on the road board for the state.
And helped bridge St. Pete and Tampa, a city with a lot in a name that really wasn't. So we mentioned Maude Fowler and her contribution to Temple Terrace, where her son Cody Fowler actually made a huge impact in Tampa as well. According to the city of Tampa, he drafted the city's first charter and served as its first attorney, and also served as a mayor. It was actually the only elected office he ever held. That was in 1928. Of course, you could read a lot more about Tampa's history, Temple Terrace history, by going to the Tampa History Museum.
I'll know so much more when I drive down those streets now. It's very interesting.
And it's the Howard Frankland with a D. That's
Franklin,
the other
yeah.
thing people always
Yes.
miss.
I feel like there ought to be a test afterwards. Maybe on WFLA.com. Just fill in the blanks.
Come by my desk. I got a whole test for you.
Right, good thing you should bring that up, because
Thank
in
you.
2 minutes, Rod is going to talk more about the history of Tampa on WFLA Now. So grab your smartphone and head over to our News Channel 8 Facebook page, and you can join